Welcome, everyone, to episode 351 of Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. I really appreciate you being with me here for this episode. I feel like a news anchor for this episode. This is my papers I'm studying. Ona Grauer, Ayiana,
Hi.
welcome to Dial the Gate.
Thank you.
Mr. Corin Nemec, Jonas, Quinn,
Yes, sir.
welcome back, sir. I am
Wonderful to be
thrilled
here.
to have you both. How are you guys doing?
Well,
Doing good?
Yes, same here. Busy as a beaver.
This is good, especially these days. Folks, this is a live stream on YouTube currently. If you are in the YouTube chat, then go ahead and submit your questions to my moderators. They are going to get those questions over to me. We have them for a good 45 minutes. We'll see how things go. But it is a privilege to have you both. Frozen is one of my favorite episodes from the franchise. It was pivotal in terms of the mythology for the series and everything that came after, including Atlantis, which, Anna, you know, you're the first person on screen, for crying out loud. So much of this was birthed in this episode. But I really just want to catch up with you both real quick. How are you? How is life treating you? How are you guys doing? What's going on in your worlds, Anna?
things are fantastic. I about 5 years ago took a turn from acting, kind of semi-retired, and I started coaching kind of the young actors on set.
Okay.
So I'll go on and do like the entire series with kind of the younger kids, and it's been, honestly, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, making the connections with the kids and with the families and being able to kind of walk them through. Some of them are very new to the industry, and being able to walk them through the process and give them support, figure out a relationship so they really trust me, and to see it happen in real time. It's honestly been the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
What brought this on?
Oddly enough, I did a show with my daughter. When she was about 7, I had convinced her to do this audition for a Steven Spielberg series called The Whispers. It was here, and she didn't have an agent, wasn't interested in it, and then my agent was kind of like, there's this weird, Maeve's very original looking, so I guess there was something that said we just need a very original looking child. And I said, Maeve, do you want to do this thing? I said, there's no lines, you just point down the road, could be cool. That turned into a callback, that turned into 5 episodes, and she was like, Mom, you said there was no lines. And I was like, things move fast in this business.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you want to say no? Do you want to say no, Maeve?
Yeah, and so we ended up doing it, and then I think it was for ABC, and I had worked for ABC a bunch, so they were like, we've hired this original looking kid, now we got to try to find her a mom, and they just went, Ona Grauer's her mom, and they went, Ona, because we have different last names, they're like, Ona Grauer's Maeve's mom?
Yeah.
Hire her.
Yeah.
So Maeve kind of in turn got me a job.
Wow.
You got her the job and she got you the job, so it's
That's
perfect.
right. But
Wow.
I was acting on it, but I was working really closely with the kids and the families, and they all kind of gravitated towards me because I was an actor and a mom. And so they would ask me a lot of stuff. And after that experience, I just said, I want to do this. That felt really good. It felt really good to be of service instead of kind of focusing on yourself, I guess.
There's nothing more important than teaching. And in an industry, there are few jobs more important than teaching, as far as I'm concerned. In an industry like this, where the kids are chewed up and spat out. I mean, it's a professional, just like meat grinder. The more attention that can be paid towards helping them figure out what this is, the better. Corin, how do you, I mean, with your son, I mean, and your daughter, what's your perspective on this?
Well, I started acting professionally when I was 12 years old.
That's
so,
right.
I totally understand the whole child actor phenomenon and all of that, and longevity for youthful actors. It's very questionable. You just really don't ever know.
Right.
I attribute my longevity really to the fact that I continued in acting classes, and like Ona was saying, having a mentor at a young age is probably a very important part of the whole process, and also being grounded in what it is to be an artist as an actor, and not being caught up in, oh, I have to be famous, I have to be on a show, I have to be known, I have to be on a red carpet, I have to, so on and so on. um, if you're into acting and you love acting, then if you're acting, you're happy, whether that's on a stage
That's right.
or during a rehearsal process, or while you're actually shooting something or performing something. And that's what it boiled down to for me, is like, again, continuing from in acting classes from age 11 all the way up until I was in my mid to late 30s. um, that was a big factor in the surviving of being a young actor, especially one that was somewhat well known in the teen magazines,
Yeah.
Emmy nominated at 15, and other, things that were kind of a phenomenon
A lot
at
of
that time,
exposure.
Yeah, so it was, and then having, even though I was already 18 at the time, but the Parker Lewis series, obviously,
I
you're
love that
headlining.
show, by the way. I
It was
absolutely love
fun.
that. I love that show. I
It
love
was so much fun.
it.
It was great. But, and so, yeah, headlining your own show, especially a comedy, that can be a death sentence in the long run at a young age, oddly enough, you
Really?
can find yourself, it can be, yeah, because then what else are you seen as?
Yeah.
Especially the younger you get, it's tough.
Okay.
Um, and you see a lot of the headliners in shows, Soleil Moon Fight. It's not that, she's done very well in
Right.
life, but she
Punky
was a good friend
Brewster?
of mine growing up, and that was tough to get out of. Yeah, that was very tough to get out of the Punky Brewster,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, personality and all that for the masses and everything. And obviously my good friend David Faustino, fortunately we had a production company together. We did a lot of film projects together. He was Bud Bundy on Married with Children, and that
Yeah.
was really tough for him to break that mold of like, look, I'm an actor, I just played that character, I can do a lot of different
It's
things,
so damned
as an
iconic.
actor. And yeah, it can be, so it can't, it's a blessing and a
Yeah.
curse. And so I was just very fortunate to maintain being in acting classes, and it changed my attitude towards the industry, and
Oh,
my willingness to audition, and it was my willingness to audition that really kept me working, because that broke the mold of what people thought of me in their perception once I was in the room. And now, as Ona knows, you don't ever
yeah.
really get to audition in rooms anymore.
Right.
No.
And the right
It's all like
teacher.
this right here.
Yeah. And having
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right
the fact that she's
mentor.
teaching is great. That's so cool. I think that's really rad. I've been wanting to do that myself for quite a long time. I applaud you for that. It's a
The
great,
coaching,
yeah, it's great. It's great
uh,
for that you're doing that.
it's I think it's funny because sometimes when I interview for jobs, some of the directors or the producers will say, like, what do you think your greatest strength is working with the kids and family? And I always say the ability to gain trust really quickly. I'm a pretty personable
Yeah,
person.
totally.
Just a
And
bit.
so to be able, because it takes an immense amount of trust for the families too, like for the parents coming up and they're on location with their kids and everybody's a little out of water, and parents, I mean, as a dad too, right? Like when you feel like you're not confident in a situation, but you're there to provide support for your child, it's a really unnerving, I think, experience. So for me to be able to work really closely with the parents as well, and just sort of establish like you can trust me, like I'm here, like I'm here. I'm here for you
Yes,
too. I'm here for your kids for being for the acting side, but I'm here for you for the experience as well. And to, yeah, it's just to be supportive and to kind of create this bond with all of us.
that's
That's the
great.
rewarding part
Does your
too.
daughter continue acting after that,
No,
or
no, no,
she, no,
no.
no, that was
I
it? Yeah,
ruined her.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
She's
my
like,
daughter did a
that
small
was
part
enough.
playing. Yeah, yeah, I dig it. Yeah, 'cause my daughter, when she was pretty young, gosh, she might have only been 6 or 7 or whatever, but she did a small role in a film playing my daughter in a film, and she could have
Awesome.
cared less. Like, she had zero, like, she was like, whatever, if she never,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she knew
yeah.
that I was an actor, but she never tried to pursue it. She never was excited about being on set after that or desiring it. My son, he had kind of mentioned maybe some leanings towards that in his teen years, but now he wants to like be a Buddhist monk and go like live in an ashram in India. So I'm like, that's
Why,
cool
yeah,
too.
do that.
And
Totally.
things change, as we progress throughout our lives. Myself, my father was a flight instructor for a long time and I've flown 47 years. Sorry, Dad, he's watching. And then in my 30s, I discovered coaching, mentorship, and it's like, oh my God, I want to do a version of this in whatever it is that I do for the rest of my life. So I get it. Mm-hmm. I'd like to take you guys back to Frozen, 2003. SG-1 is in
That was a trip when you sent the episode, by the way, because I hadn't watched it in forever. And I was on set. I was on set for a different show that I was doing anyways, and I kind of watched it in the trailer at lunch.
Well, I'm thrilled that you saw it again.
Yeah.
This is, like I said before, a pivotal episode. SG-1 is in its 6th season. It's like a bonus season for Sci-Fi picking it up. It was not supposed to go on any further. They're setting up the movie at this stage. And this episode comes along that is setting up the Ancients. Ona, I'd like to start with you in terms of what you remember about production. This character, I remember you saying to me, she's got no dialogue. This is gonna be easy. And it wasn't, yes, because she's comprehending.
Yeah.
Tell us about
It was one
Ayiana.
of the hardest jobs I've ever had. And I did go in incredibly naive, thinking that, first of all, it was the first job back after my son. My son was like 5 months old. So I was a little bit rattled anyways to kind of get back into it. And I thought, oh, whatever. I don't have lines to learn. This will be easy.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was really difficult. And Corin, I cannot express how much you really just calmed me down or something. I don't know. We had a strange dynamic on the show, like in a good way, right? Like you could talk to me, but I couldn't really talk to you. And it was a way more stressful. I mean, I don't get like super stressed out, but I remember thinking like, oh, I thought this was going to be different. And then when I was on set, I kind of had some nerves about it, and you were there, and you really helped.
Thank you.
Feel really kind of comfortable about it all.
Excellent. I'm pretty relaxed on set, even when it's freezing cold on the set, like unnervingly cold. That was that episode. I was always blown away by the production design on Stargate. All the episodes, just how much time and money that they spent on creating these sets that were as vivid and real to life as possible. And on this particular one, they had to do an exterior in Antarctica, and then a bit of and then an interior set that were connected. They brought in all these gigantic air conditioners. They were crazy, and they blasted. I mean, it got so cold you could see your breath in there at times. And then eventually the air conditioners somehow stopped working, and it kind of ruined that part of it. But it was still, or didn't work as well as expected. But it was still what a cool idea to try and make the environment even that much more real.
This is the second time they've done it. Second time
it was pretty warm out there, and it was pretty warm that day. So you'd be like, normally if you're on a set, you're hot on set, and you walk outside and you put a parka on. Yeah. But in this case, you walk outside, you take your parka off, and put it on when you go to set. But it was amazing. It was a great time, and working with you was wonderful. It's actually one of my favorite episodes. That one and an episode called Sleepwalker are my two favorites that I worked. Nightwalker, yeah, and Sleepwalker was a Stephen King movie that I auditioned for.
Ona, Corin was brand new as well. He had only just been there for a couple of months, so he's still getting his feet wet with this character too. So two people who are carrying really heavy pieces of this puzzle just coming together on screen and making it work. It's with the right actors, magic can happen, and with the wrong ones, click the channel You know, there
Yeah.
is something about this show that continues to resonate. What do you guys think it is? This specific episode.
Well, this one, I mean, again,
Well, I
well,
was the first
obviously,
ancient, right?
yeah,
Ayiana was the first ancient ever unfrozen, and it's, I mean, like you said before, it's narratively, it's like it's a big key to the series.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot happening
and
here.
yeah, and she was phenomenal in the episode. I would have never guessed in a million years that you had any kind of nervousness whatsoever.
Do you
You
know
seemed very
why?
relaxed.
Because it was, our director was
Martin Wood.
Martin Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember whatever I did in the audition, and then you get the job and you're like, okay, cool. This is what I did in the audition. I'm going to do it. And I remember he came to me and he said, everything you did in the audition, we don't want. We don't want any of that. And so I went, what do you want?
Why'd I get hired?
How do you ask somebody to like pivot like that? Like, as an actor, you kind of go, oh, good, they must have loved what I've done. And then the director comes to you and says, yeah, we didn't like any of that, but we believe in you. And so you're going,
I guess I'll just try stuff out and be like, oh, no, not that. Well, then I'll go this way. Like,
yeah,
I'll show you my ability to pivot.
what they wanted or whatever, but it was, like I said, when I thought it was going to be easier not having dialogue, and then whatever I did in the audition, and then they kind of went like, no, we don't want that. We want you to kind of do this. It was just how to like pivot on the spot in the moment, which I guess.
Absolutely.
But it was funny that you were talking about the like the stages, because that big sort of block of ice that I was in, it was just plastic or something, but the inside that I was laying on, they kind of kept saying, Ona, we've made it as ergonomically comfortable as possible, and so we think you'll be comfy in there. And I fell asleep a couple of times. I was like, you guys did a great job. It was all smooth for my body in there. Like, it was all kind of like nice and cozy.
Far out.
I always ask, what was the block like? And I'm like, it was comfy.
Opposite of a block.
I should have tried it. Yeah, I should have tried it. I should have kept it and put it in my dressing room.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, and the wardrobe as well. You know, we see it just for a brief second, and then it's gone. And the next time we see you, it's completely different. Which I guess kind of, you know, it's sort of I guess technically a non sequitur, but. They didn't know what they had yet, you know, in terms of this, because when you come back in Atlantis, you're in this beautiful gown, like chamber robes, you know, and the juxtaposition there. God knows what she was left with down there, but certainly a needle and thread.
The guy that's in the scene with me in Atlantis?
Your partner.
Yeah, that was Aaron. That was my ex-husband, which was funny because the kids get to see it. Yeah, yeah.
Was it just a coincidence?
No, I mean, he booked it.
Okay.
But it was, I think that a lot of people did know that we were together, so they thought it was kind of an interesting dynamic too. And Aaron's a pretty original looking person as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember him. He's a real handsome dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go down the rabbit hole of the subtext between just that one lick before he departs, and at some point I'd love to talk to you about that. But this,
I remember it.
She's a plague carrier. That's where that's coming from. So she's done some bad things, or is a bad thing. We don't know. And that's the brilliant thing about this episode, because she's a completely blank slate. She clearly recalls whatever her version of ABCs is, because she can understand and communicate a little bit, but her memory is gone. And so, and Frasier says it, Terrell's character is like, look, she's been down there for potentially 50 million years. God knows what's left. But what it boiled down to was a willingness to help and a desire to do everything you can for someone else, even if it's to your dying breath. I love that message with this character. It's like, she appears to recognize that she's responsible in some way, shape, or form. And either it's that, or it's just a pure willingness to use the tools that she has in her previous iteration of humanity body to just purely help others. And I love that message about this character. It's like, You know, even if this takes my life, I'm going to do what I can to undo some damage.
Yeah, and you know what I wondered, and it was interesting watching the episode again because it kind of brought up some stuff, and I always wondered if that was purely an Ayiana thing or if that was her people thing, because there are even historically, like some of the ancient civilizations that we know of.
Yep.
I mean, I was talking about the Mayans last night and how you know, their belief in their gods and everything, and you kind of go, oh wow, this was a really kind of intellectually elevated people or something. But then you think about it, and all they did was chop heads off all day long.
Child sacrifices and all kinds of things. Yeah.
So then that's why I was kind of like, is this purely an Ayiana thing? Is this her people's kind of willingness to want to help and to want to? So I remember thinking that a lot. Wondering if this was a personal thing or if it's part of her people's.
I have the answer.
I mean, obviously a little bit of both, but
yeah, it was her. There was probably a little bit of both, but in terms of the standard that was set, in terms of what we know about these species, no, they leave their crap around everywhere. We're constantly picking up after them. Corin knows this, and it was an instinct to help is definitely among them. But she was special. That was unique about that character more than anything.
Yeah, I really cared. I did. I really cared.
Yeah. It came through.
I did.
Corin, do you remember any notes from Martin Wood on this? You remember the scenes of trying to communicate and get that across? You know, your first chance to eat in several million years. Here's some hospital food. Enjoy.
I know. I can't believe that she chowed down on it too.
Oh yeah.
She was like,
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what they actually served, but you know, I know my character. I brought that kind of element into it of like really being into the earth food because I just mocked it up in my mind that, you know, my home planet didn't have like the best cooks, like, you know, like maybe not the best kind of food. When I get to the earth, there's like ice cream, there's like onion rings, there's, you know, milkshakes and this, and there's all this, you know, peanut butter jelly sandwiches and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I was, I just kind of like would try and introduce that into different scenes as I was allowed to. But I just know that in this particular episode, I feel like it was one of my heavier episodes. You know, it was a little, you know, I was they were a little more, you know, focused on Jonas in that episode, and that was exciting for me as well. Obviously, you know, I had hopes that character was going to go on for quite some time in the Stargate universe, and but so it was one of those moments where I really knew that it was important to you know, to not phone anything in, to do as best job as I can, stay focused, and of course enjoy myself, being able to do what I love to do, and in such a great environment, and with such a great group of talented filmmakers. You know, we had a incredible crew on that show. It was what we would be able to get done in a 12-hour period was nuts. You know, I've worked on other shows, and you're usually going over the 12 hours, and you got, you know, overtime and this, that. I don't think once the entire time I was on Stargate we went past 12 hours. So that was also a blessing. That's because huge. Yeah, I mean, 12 hours as for the average person, it's like, wow, that's a long work day, because most people are doing 8 hours a day or whatever. But in the film business, you know, 12 hours on set is average, unless you're under 8.
I know, it's wild.
Speaking
the wild concept that 12 hours could be for us.
They were conscious of
a pretty reasonable day.
That's right.
Totally.
They were conscious of families. That was very important to them, you know, to not do too many night shifts, like night walkers. Speaking of crew, I am delighted to welcome to the group, if I can get my buttons right here, Mr. Martin Wood.
What?
No way.
seeing
Welcome,
you guys all the
Martin.
time.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh my gosh, this is just terrific to have all of you together. Martin, this was your second time, to my knowledge, freezing a set. You're going back to Antarctica and recreating so much. What was it like to do this episode?
Wow. I mean, it was one of those things where the set that they built for us was absolutely spectacular. And we just got to play in this thing with the snowmobiles and with everything like that. And it was all at the Norco stage, I think, Corin. It was like everything was over at Norco for this, I think. And Anna, I remember when we started this, we had to do the whole face thing for you, and I had to stand holding your hand while they put straws in your nose so that you could they could pour the mold over top of your face so that we could put you in that block of ice.
Yes.
But this was an amazing thing, and for me, this was one of the most memorable episodes I ever did.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember or not, but my mom died in the middle of this episode.
Oh my God.
And I had
I remember that.
I remember what scene we were in too. It was you had your hand above your head and you're frozen in the ice, and we'd just been talking about how long you had to be there. I think, Corin, you were in the control room watching this as all the stuff was being taken off your face. And I remember in the middle of shooting that one specific scene where I think it was Terrell that took the burlap off your face. And you'd been the reveal. And you were in that thing with your arm above your head for so long. Like that whole day was you sitting in that frozen ice block like this. And everybody else got to wander around. And I remember in the middle of that, just as we were doing that scene, I got a phone call from my brother in Ontario. And he said, "Come home now." And I literally, in the middle of that scene, I went, "Oh no." And I turned to Andy Makita, who was one of the producers in the show, and I handed him my binder and my computer. And I said, "Andy, I'm sorry, I have to go." And Stargate, John Smith booked a flight that I could get on right away. And I don't know how much I told you guys about this when I got back, but I flew home. I had to drive from Toronto to Chesley, which is where the hospital that my mom was in. And I got there, I said goodbye to her, and like 2 hours later, she died.
Wow.
And then I went, I'm in the middle of a TV show that I should be directing. And I think Andy did 3 days for me because it was on a Thursday or a Friday. And then I think he did the rest of that Thursday, the Friday. And then I had 2 days of a weekend, and I came back on the Monday. And I remember the scene we came back into was you eating. Corin comes in with a tray, and he starts eating it with his fingers. And I'm like, he just touched it with his fingers, and you're going to touch it. And then you had to do. Do you remember that, Corin? That you had to show her what food was.
I have very clean hands.
And that was the scene I came back to after all that happened. And you guys were so amazing with me. I mean, just the fact that I had to take off like that, and that I came back and Andy had done such a great job. And you can tell. I mean, if I watched the show again, I'd be able to tell where Andy took over, because Andy does inserts that I don't do. He does, like, everything is inserted. Everything's you see everything, and then the rest of it is me just running around with a camera and doing a lot of running around shots. And Andy's much more technical with inserts. So there's, in the middle of one of my episodes, there's all these inserts happening.
You're like, that was Andy's thing?
That's Andy's scene. That's Andy's scene.
That's cool.
Wow.
That was pretty wild.
That's an interesting way to think about recognizing where he was in your episodes.
And as an audience, it's seamless because we're not seeing that on our side, so we never would have known. Wow, Martin, that's
Yeah,
You've never shared that with us.
Again, it's one of my all-time favorite episodes that I got the pleasure of working on, and that I do recall that the your mom passing away, and that was actually really rough. The couple of days working without you there was a little tough, man, because we all have mothers, and I know that that's just something that's nobody wants to have to go through with that. And I really wasn't expecting you back. Excuse me, I really wasn't expecting you back for the episode, and I was amazed at how well composed you were when you arrived back. That must have been extremely challenging. But I also, the plight of the artist, it's like you got to finish what you started, you know?
Yeah. It was either I could stay at home with everybody else and just start the grieving process for that, or I could come back. And I remember, Corin, you actually took me aside when I first got back. I think Rick was the first one to see me, and then you saw me. And I think you came over and just gave me this giant hug. And it was just this feeling of coming back into this family that I loved so much, that it was really wild, just sort of having that embrace by everybody in a professional sense and in a physical sense. When I first got back, it was, I mean, this was season
6,
5 or season 6, yeah. And we'd been, and Corin, this was your second season, right?
First.
This is your first or second?
No,
first season.
Well, I was in the very end, the last episode of season 5, so technically you'd say it was,
first
second season.
Yeah.
But
when did we do the which episode was the digger?
That was season 7. That was the next year.
7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was rad.
Because that was another one, and that was another very emotional one, where you had an awful lot to do in that one, Corin. And I remember for some reason it brought back memories of Frozen for me. There was something that you and I were doing that brought me back to memories of Frozen. I think that you and I probably talked about it at that point, but yeah, I was remembering that.
Great set, that episode, man. They did.
Oh, yeah.
That set. I mean, just the sets are absolutely mind blowing on Stargate. My father's a production designer, so production design to me is like something that I always pay attention to, and some of the sets that I walked on when we were shooting Stargate, there was one episode, I forget the name of it, but it was an Egyptian temple one, and there's like, there's like, we're supposed to be under the sand. And so they had the big sand dune that went all the way up to like the top of the roof of the interior of
Abydos, probably.
I could not believe it. I was just, my mind was blown. It was a very smart use of any kind of green screen work or special effects, because they limited it to only what was really necessary. I mean, we had that. We did another episode where there was we're shooting by a lake or something up in the mountains, and they had a sunken spaceship in the water. And the
one where we were standing on this,
Forsaken,
half of a freaking spaceship and put it in the water in this lake. And I'm just like, there could have been another way to get around that. That wouldn't be so cost. That wouldn't have been cost so much. But if they didn't do it that way, it just wouldn't have been the show that it was. So it's incredible stuff. Incredible. Working on those sets, just incredible.
Anna, I would hope that you'd be willing to reshare the note that you shared earlier from Martin, because I'd really like to get a comment from Major Wood here regarding
Martin,
the approach to a character. Go ahead, Anna.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember pulling me aside when I got the job and saying everything you did in the audition it's not what we want?
I don't remember that, but I think it's that. You're not the first person that happened to, but you're one of the people that we had to start from scratch with.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing with, what was the character's name? Was
Ayiana.
Ayiana, yeah. Although I think you started calling yourself Jonas at one point, didn't you? Was it? Didn't you think you were or he was teaching you about names, and I think you called yourself Jonas at some point?
That may have been cut.
I think it was, and I think what I did was, I think you said your name, Corin, and then I must have mimicked you by taking...
Right. Oh, and then I remember, and then he goes, "No, I'm Jonas."
I'm Jonas. It's your name.
It was that's true, because your character was a blank slate.
Yep.
You know, at the beginning, and it was there was all this stuff that I don't remember the audition. But I remember thinking,
oh, I do.
As you came in. Oh, really? What would tell me what happened?
Yeah, I want to know too.
Do you know what I think what it was is that the description written on the page mirrored. It sounded to me like it mirrored Mila Jovovich and
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Yes, very
I
Lilu.
think there was something like that in the audition. So when I booked it, and then you came to me and you said, that is absolutely not what we're looking for. That's a very distinct memory for me, going like, we didn't want anything that you've done. You did.
Well, congratulations, you're hired.
Yeah.
Hired,
you did such a great job. We could see how malleable you are. That
that's
we
what
knew.
You sort of said. You said we believe that we can work through this with you, but let's leave all of that out.
It's a tough character. It's a seriously tough character. Whenever you have to start with, does she recognize anything here? And I mean, the fact is that you were like a billion years old or something like that, and suddenly there's these lights and things like this. There's the set, and I do remember when you and I walked in the first time into the set. You commenting on, oh man, look at how much stuff is here and things like this. And I'm like, remember that feeling you have right now.
Yep.
Because that's what it's going to be like when you wake up and you're like, no, but this is pretty cool. And it's like, I'm like, just make it not cool, make it scary, and make it, so it's something that your character's never seen before.
And that was a strange balance to have to play, because she doesn't, I mean, she has a moment where she sort of freaks out, but she settles in pretty quickly. And obviously this is for like television timeline, but I remember that being a little bit difficult to play, because how does she wake up in this whole new world? There's other human beings that physically look like human beings, but they're dressed totally different. My environment's totally different, but we didn't take a lot of time to play that moment for her. We took a moment of it and then we moved on with the storyline. So
I have
it's like go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say it's like within 5 seconds of walking into the lab, Jonas takes his mask off, and it's like, should you be doing that? Like, that's kind of not protocol. Everybody should really kind of be in hazmats, and we're walking around with masks on. And I remember at one point, Corin, you're holding the mask up like this, and it's like, that's not doing anything. You're walking around talking every time you talk because you want to show her your face.
Well,
you remember that?
The mask off because he thought it scared me, or that.
That's right.
Oh, that's why. That's right. Because he was the one that interpreted.
I can take it
Are you
off.
scared of us because we have? That's right. I forgot about that.
I just love the impact though post COVID. When I rewatched this episode for the first time since then, it's like she's 50 million years old. They're all 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm not surprised that they got sick, because it makes sense that would happen. That she would carry even just innocuously stuff that was normal from her world. That would happen. This would happen anytime we did something like this.
Or the opposite, possibly.
That's true too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Martin, did you know at the time, I would imagine that you did, how big a deal with this was, that this is an ancient, and that if Brad and Rob have their say that this is going places, at least in a movie, how do you, and how much do you communicate this to Ona? Or, I mean, if that's the case, I'm assuming you wouldn't want to burden her with the impact of what this is to get in the way of the performance.
See, that's the thing, is it wouldn't change anything for her.
Okay.
Because she has to start from scratch with it. And it was, I think there's a moment in it, and I can't remember how we discovered it. I think it was it Fraser or was it Carter that was comparing things to when O'Neill was O'Neill had the face hugger on. Was that what,
That's
what she was
correct.
comparing it to?
Earlier
Oh,
evolutions of advanced forms of humanity, and Cassandra.
so that's how. Oh, I forgot about Cassandra. Yeah. So that's how we figured it out. But the fact is that it wouldn't affect Ayiana at that point because she didn't have textual memory of that.
Yeah, it's
right?
gone. It's all gone.
Yeah. So for me to say to Ona, you're an ancient, it would be like saying, yeah, you're from Surrey. It's
Yeah.
it's not going to change a lot of
Same
what she's
difference,
going to
right?
do.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess just from an intimidation factor, it's like, okay, you know that thing on the show? Yeah, you built that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was a point, I think, when Corin, you were trying to talk to her about the Stargate, or you were trying to say something about the Stargate, and then Carter tried to do the same thing, where they were trying to. I can't remember what they were. This was before we understood about power sources and
Yep.
things like that. And I think that you guys were trying to talk to her, and there couldn't be any recognition from it,
Yep.
right? It's not like yeah, that's I did that last Saturday,
Yeah.
Yeah, see the stuff or the filigree, that was my touch. I put that in there. So it's
I
like,
think that it's one of the magical elements of this episode because on that cognitive level, no one's home. It's all died in the ice. A
Right.
lot of secrets, probably good and bad secrets. This episode is just about the human connection and people finding a way to communicate. And there's only one objective: heal these people who are now being harmed because of her presence.
Right.
And that's all
Yeah.
she does. That's instinctually what she does, which is a far cry from a lot of what the ancients that we later met would have done.
right. And I think that part of it is that I don't think Brad and Rob had figured out that far
Yep.
into it what the ancients we always sort of had said the ancients built all this stuff, that everything that we sort of came across was something that the ancients had started into had put into practice. But I don't think the ancients themselves, we had that much of a connection with them at that point to be able to say, okay, so here's what her civilization was. I don't think they knew any more than Ayiana did at that point. What her background was.
That's got to be free because
and
you're writing this as you go. Then.
Yeah, and I think if anything, Corin's character would have more would understand more of what was going on, just because of his where he came from. They understood more about the ancients, I think, didn't they?
It's some degrees.
And then, yeah.
So
It was I think I looked at the cast. Dorian was in this, right? So then his character was it Thorin? Was on Dorian
that
Harwood.
That was so. That's Abyss. Yes. At the very end, that's correct.
Yeah.
He is.
Very end.
I didn't get to the last 5 minutes of the show today. Sorry, guys.
Okay. I looked at the cast list to see who else was in this.
Yes, that's correct.
Dorian was. So we actually brought is Thorin, right? Is his
Yes,
character?
that's correct.
Yeah, we brought him back in at that point. And so I think that Corin, your connection with sort of with that probably would have given us a little bit more background than certainly Carter would have had at that point.
Yeah. Guys, I promised you 45 minutes. Do you have to get going?
I can give you another 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all right for now.
Can I
But
ask?
I do have a lunch.
Can I
that
show
have
you
to
what
get
I
to.
brought? Oh, sorry.
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
Yeah,
Go
let's do
ahead.
it.
Pegasus medal.
Aw.
Nice.
That's Brad.
Where did you get that? I've never seen one.
I know. I was going through my passport box and it's got some memorabilia stuff in it. And this was like just in there. And I kind of went, that's crazy. I still have this. I think I don't know. Didn't I sign some trading?
Probably,
cards?
yes. Yeah, yes, that is true.
And that maybe I got it for that. I don't know why I still have that.
So do you know the significance of the coins?
What is it?
I've not seen one of those.
Because we were an Air Force show. Air Force, every base, every department, every command has their own coins, And whenever you go from base to base, you trade coins.
Wow.
And it's usually if in a bar, it will mean somebody will buy you a beer and things is. And the bigger the personages on the coin, like depending on where you're from, like I'd get them when I was at NORAD. I got coins from them, but I also got Secretary of Defense. I got his coin, and that was a big deal. And so I would carry it whenever I went. And when I did the Netflix movie Operation Christmas Drop,
Yeah.
I took it with me. And at that point, his name was still known as the Secretary of Defense. So it was one of those coins when we went to Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. I'm like, so you have a Pegasus one, which was obviously I think
Atlantis.
it was probably Atlantis. Yeah,
yeah, she was the first one. Her and her partner were on screen together for your introductory episode.
Yeah.
Wow, what a beauty.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm so glad I found it in time. I'd have been really bummed if we did this interview and then I found it like a week later. I'd be like, no.
Yeah. I have my grandfather's coin. He was in the Air Force. He was and he was in a lot of other areas of the military, but he was in the Air Force during World War II, and then was in the Counterintelligence Corps during the Cold War, and then was the head of SAC in Arkansas.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for the rest of his career, and but so I have one of his coins that I cherish as well. It's very cool.
Corin, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the last few minutes here with Anna and Martin, if that's okay with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
I hate to say it,
so much. No, it's okay.
I got a family lunch I got to get
Absolutely.
to,
I really appreciate you coming by and making this such a special experience for all of us.
It's so good to see you, brother. It really is.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You look great, Martin. Everybody looks great.
Oh, thanks.
And it's glad to see that we haven't all shriveled up and started to prune. Wonderful, good sign. God bless you all. Much love, and I hope to see you all down the road in person sometime. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Take care of yourself, my friend.
Thank you, Corin.
Cheers, y'all. You bet.
All right, let me go ahead and just a few more minutes with you guys. Let me set this thing back up over here. I've got some fan questions for you, Anna. Let me see here. And Martin may be able to contribute. Let me switch this back here. Okay, so, all right. So Martin's going to be Jonas for a minute here.
I get to be Jonas Quinn.
You get to be Jonas Quinn. Yes. Anna, so Kevin Weber wanted to know about a fun beat from Archer, which I just watched last night. And oh my God, do I have thoughts on this thing. But I love this character. She's here, and then what? She's taken out like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Martin, Anna plays Russian spy, former KGB.
Former KGB.
Oh God, that voice, man! In Archer, have you seen Archer,
No.
Martin? Oh
no.
It is unique taste. Da.
Yeah.
But
it's an animated series, Martin.
Yes.
And
I do know the series. I think I may have watched an episode, but I don't know it very well.
Any highlights from that, Anna?
That show.
Oh man.
That show was insane because, as you know, some of the things that they say. So I'd be in the recording booth and I would go to say her lines and I would just stop and go, I can't say this. Like, I have to
it's
say
really
this.
crass, and the humor is very sophisticated at the same time. So it's a weird juxtaposition. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, exactly. So recording it sometimes when you'd hear, because I recorded it in Vancouver and then they mostly recorded it out of Atlanta.
Okay.
And so they would sort of fill in for some of the dialogue, but I mean, we had to stop and laugh so many times. Like I ruined so many takes because I was like, this is I was like, you can't say this out loud, you guys. This is
it's being broadcast to everyone. What's this gonna do? Don't show this to my kids.
My kids watch it. They love it.
Oh my God. So a friend of mine, Bernd Bacchus, sent me a message that he wanted me to ask you, but coincidentally enough, just after he did it, he sent me this real quick, and I hope you guys can see this. Addendum, I just turned on my TV for dinner entertainment, and look who appeared on exactly in that moment. I swear I did not know that Seattle Superstorm would be on cable. So
no way.
Isn't that just wild?
That is wild.
Oh, and Maddie Finocchio.
Oh, Maddie Finocchio.
Yeah.
And he asked, Anna, is it true you got into acting through your mother, who was a caterer for MacGyver?
She was a caterer on MacGyver
Wow.
briefly, but that's not how I got.
That's
into
not
acting.
how. Okay. Okay. What, Christina Harmati, was there anything unique about acting on Stargate or about your experience with the Stargate production? Because you are one of 8 or some odd, I'm going to have to get the exact number of actors who have done, speaking actors who have done all 3. Anything unique or interesting about that production?
That's my crass joke when I'm at conventions. I say I'm the Stargate slut because I've done them all. People do ask, they're like, you've been in all three franchises. Like I said earlier, the Frozen episode to me is really significant personally because I had just had a baby. It's my first job back, and I do remember production just being so cognizant that was happening, that I was still breastfeeding, that my mom was there with me. And so even when I had to lay in the mold for a very long time, I remember we had to discuss, like, when am I going to, how am I going to get out before I can go and breastfeed? Yeah.
And you're hearing your baby. I remember you telling me you were hearing your baby crying, and that produces a physiological response. And it's like, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And Martin, I mean, you guys accommodated.
26 or something, 26, 27. So, I mean, I was a new mom. The whole thing was such a new experience for me. And then I was very excited to be back into acting. But I do remember just how absolutely wonderful everybody was with me. And I just appreciated it so much.
Wow. Martin, you directed Rising. And
yes,
was it, I've always wanted to ask this, so this is kind of perfect. Was it always, as far as you are aware, Brad and Rob's intent to put Anna in the opening scene? Or was this an afterthought where it's like, you know what, maybe we could do this. Let's check her availability.
I don't remember whose idea it was, but I remember it was very early on in the process when we were talking about, these 2 people escape, and I think it was, I'm sure it was either Brad or Rob that came up with the idea hey, we have established ancients that we could do this with.
And leave it ambiguous.
Yeah.
I always hoped that we would go back to them in some way, like they did in Before I Sleep with the Council. It's like, what was going on there? Because they never explored the plague at all. And it devastated our galaxy.
I think there was this may be a false memory, but I remember thinking when we were doing 200, that it was something to do with,
it's okay.
And I honestly, I don't remember well enough, but I think we talked about something on the 200th about bringing back, the 2 plague ancients, So
he was a carrier too. Oh.
Well, I assumed that was the case, was that we knew that there was something going on with that they had no idea that they had this.
I always thought he boarded the ship and took off. Wow. I never thought of it that way. Poor girl. You were left. The guy just, not only was he still around, but he split. You go that way. I'll take that sheet of ice. I'll go that way.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't sort of give any way for them to have cured themselves from it. Right. Yeah. So, and because she wasn't reactive to it.
Patient 0, I thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Interesting. I don't remember that enough. I do remember thinking at one point, when we're talking about, should we go to these planets and watch their planets explode and this kind of stuff, and all the things that we were playing around with that. There's one thing that we talked about with ancients coming back and whether it would be like, this is the wrong place for us to be.
Yeah.
But the 200s was so hilarious because it was all the writers putting in their ideas, and then there was all this stuff they had just cull to get to what we ended up with on 200s, and all of it was crazy.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Anna, Urias Tosh wanted to know, did you have any experience of doing nonverbal acting prior to Ayiana? And how difficult really was it to find your feet in that? I know we talked a little bit about it before.
Yeah.
I hope you could lean into it a little bit more.
No, I had never been asked to not speak before.
Yeah.
I don't know, Martin, if you remember too, I think we were all kind of discovering it together. I think that you had a sense of what you sort of wanted, but until you see what works and what doesn't work.
That's right.
And I feel like we kind of got there and we were sort of discovering the levels of it together a bit.
Absolutely. I think the one conversation that I remember you and I had very distinctly about it was she's so far ahead of them in terms of intelligence that it can't happen the way it would happen for you or me if we got bumped in the head. Oh, I don't know where I am. Where am I? It's not going to be that kind of thing. It's going to be everything is seen, everything is absorbed, everything is taken in, everything is, so that even when you're experimenting with language, it's not just, I'm going to repeat this word. It's, I understand how this word was used in your expression on your face when you said, and I don't remember the word, was like wonderful or something like that. It was like, that's
Amazing.
just wonderful. Amazing.
Yeah, that was the word.
And you said, you just kept repeating amazing. And I said, it's not that you learned to parrot the word back. It's that you saw the expression on his face and you took that in. And when you're that much smarter than everybody else, you can go, okay, this word elicits this does this, and when you had to cure one of the guys, I don't remember which one of them was down, the first time when we saw you cure them and they were on the operating table, and I remember just saying to you, it's not like you're walking in and going, what's going on? It's, I understand what's going on, I'm looking for an opening. I know what I can do. I'm looking for an opening. And I think that was part of it for the character in here is, imagine that you're the smartest person in the room, but you can't speak. And you can still do all of that discovery without having to do, it's not a child learning it. It's not CAT is cat.
Right.
It's point to it and say cat. And it's like, okay, I get it. Now, if I understand how the words or how those letters work, I can also understand the alphabet, and I can also understand this, and I can also understand, like, you're able to extrapolate way faster than any of us ever could.
But she also doesn't have time to allow them to figure it out. People are dropping like flies, and at a certain point, she just goes in and says, I got to do this, and gives her life for it. I think it's one of the most beautiful episodes that you guys did, and it's a gem among diamonds in whichever is more precious in the franchise. Martin, thank you for being
Jonas
so
Quinn?
open with that. Yes, Jonas, Martin Wood, Corin Nemec. Thank you for being so open with your stories, and that's you guys really had a family going. I know it's a cliche, but it's the truth with this cast and crew. And Anna, you, I'm privileged to finally have you on the show. It means so much to me to have you here. I would love to have you back next year to talk a little bit more about your larger career, but specifically what it is that you're doing now, because I have a lot of folks who come on who watch the show with their kids. And I've been emailed repeatedly saying, I think my kids are interested in that. I would love to hear your perspective more in depth on what it is that you do, and the traffic cones that you put out, to give the parents and young adults early warning about what's to come for them, but also the joys that come with this process as well, and the work ethic that gets built in, as I'm sure Martin could speak to, especially with
and it's a good balance. I'm pretty real with the families, supportive but real, and if I get a sense that somebody is just sort of in it for fame, I can make some adjustments, I think, for them.
Yeah. Martin, do you have Anna is coaching young actors now, along with the
Yeah,
parents of, what is it that you look for in
as it should be.
Yeah.
what is it that you look for when you are auditioning kids?
Um, uh, Not complacency. If
Interesting.
somebody comes in and they do the scene, and they're like, "Oh, there it is." It's like, I want them to be curious about it. I want them to wonder what this character is. I want them to, because what happens is you have to, as a director, you're constantly looking for the failing of, this is what the parent taught you to do, and there is nothing beyond that. So if you have to change something, if anything has to happen, or if you don't like what the parent did in terms of, they taught you to say it like this, and you can't say it like that, so you need to say it like this. It's like, I can't. I only know how to say it like this.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, is the fear of having, especially young children doing it, is they'll come in and mimic what the parents have given them,
Yep.
but they don't have a sense on beyond that. And I think the best kid actors that I know come in and go, hey, I want to play around with this a little bit. I want to do something more with it. I want to try something different, without being too clever with it and things like that. And I think that comes with, when you get kids that are have been on set for a long time. If they grow up in it, they know that a little bit more. But they also sometimes have this attitude at that point. Like, it's interesting. I'm working on a show right now where I've got a whole bunch of kids that I've known for 13 seasons now.
Oh my.
Some of them I cast originally, and some of them have sort of come in over this time.
What show are
And
you
you
on,
can
Martin?
see right now I'm just doing When Calls. When Calls
Right.
the Heart.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's some of them that started, and I was there for their first day on set. And now I watch them, and some of them are bored with being in it, and some of them there's a couple that are so locked in and so engaged, and you go, you're going to go far with this,
Yeah.
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 And it's tough, because that you're always looking for that as a director. You're always looking for kids that can do something other than just parrot how they've been trained to say a line.
You expect so much more out of them now than, just a few decades ago. Even the level of sophistication of the programming, I can see, Anna, where this would be such a calling for you guys. This has been tremendous
And very necessary to our industry, by the way. Thank you so much for doing it, Anna. It's because you see it all the time. You need actors telling them, guys, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Make yourself comfortable with this. Understand what's going on. This is the process. Understand the process. It's really quick. Now, learn to act inside that.
Yes.
Rather than just saying the script.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you. I think that's fantastic.
I'm loving it.
folks. This was so wonderful. I appreciate you, Anna, taking a little bit more extra time. I know we went over. Martin, always a treat to have you on, sir.
Well, thank you, my friend. I will do it as much as I can. You know that.
I am so thankful. Anna, thank you again for coming to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. And Martin, it was so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
You too. You haven't. I think I got. I had an audition from you at one point, and I went, "Oh my gosh, she's still gorgeous." And it's been so many years since we've seen each other. So yeah, it was fantastic.
I'll see you soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Somewhere in this.
Somewhere in the milieu that we move around in.
It's a big industry up there. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show on this side. If you got to split, I understand. But thank you both
David,
so
thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
We'll talk soon, Anna.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.
That is Ona Grauer, Ayiana in Stargate, SG-1, and Atlantis. And also she played Emily Young in Stargate Universe. Corin Nemec played Jonas Quinn, and Martin Wood, director, producer. You're watching Stargate. You're watching the Stargate Oral History Project, Dial the Gate. I have been blessed to do this show now for 5.5 seasons, and this one was one that I hoped that we would do early on, wasn't entirely sure if we were going to make it happen, but we did today. And thankfully, everyone was able to make this work, and Martin surprised them. The man pulls rabbits out of hats. He is an awesome guy. I've got a couple of archived questions here from previous episodes. One certainly applies to a previous episode. Wood Clerk, can you collect everything that doesn't get shown in the Don S. Davis Remembering Don S. Davis on a dedicated page on the website? People can then browse them at their own time afterwards. It's not a bad idea. I would want to, let me noodle that. But that's the next iteration of the site for sure. Jed Ted, any chance of getting the Dial the Gate fan interviews coming back? I could ask Gary Jones if he'd be down. I think he probably would. But a lot of that ran its course in terms of like the topics that we wanted to cover. I would have to have a concise group of fans who want to share some different stories than we heard before. We've certainly covered the type of fans who, I was down and Stargate lifted me up, and the cosplay and a few other things. But there's probably avenues there to continue to mine. So I'll keep that in mind. We've got a number of episodes still heading your way through the year, planning on going until around November, hopefully not December. That's probably going to happen, but it shouldn't be, because I'm going to be pretty busy by then, but at least through October and a little bit of November. I really appreciate you tuning in. My tremendous thanks to my moderating team. These guys pull this thing off week after week. Anthony, Jeremy, Kevin, Lockwatcher, Marsha, Raj, and Jacob. I cannot do the show without you guys. And we bring you this series for free. It's important to me that we do it this way. And if you could be gracious enough to click the like button if you enjoyed the episode, it does make a difference with YouTube and will continue to help us grow the audience. Please also consider sharing the video with a Stargate friend, and if you want to get notified about future episodes, click subscribe. And giving the bell icon a click will notify you the moment a new video drops, and you get my notifications of any last-minute guest changes. And clips from this live stream will be released over the course of the next few weeks on both the Dial the Gate and GateWorld.net YouTube channels. Wormhole Extremists is coming up for you at the top of the hour, about 49 minutes away. In this episode, we are going back to SG-1 and Atlantis. This time we are covering Season 8's Icon and Season 1's Suspicion. So we've been away for a little bit, but we're going to get this rolling again. That's what we've got going on for you today. Stay tuned to dialthegate.com for upcoming episodes and the schedule. As soon as something is nailed down, we'll get it moving on. A lot of different moving parts right now. And it's frankly been kind of nice to sit back and slow down on the live streams for a little bit. Did really heavy in the first half of the season, but let's see where things go. Maybe time to jump in the saddle and do a couple more in terms of volume again. But a lot of irons in my fire in my personal life right now, and it's been kind of great to have the best of both worlds. Appreciate you all tuning in. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate, and I will see you on the other side.